Hello, beloveds. Happy Soulfield Sunday. I am so happy to be here with you. And for those of you joining us in the Eternal Now via recording, we're welcoming you into the sphere as well. Let's begin by really with intention. If you have a candle, you can light your candle. I'm lighting a candle for all of us. Really begin with intention by coming into the soul field, intending to enter in. And you can feel it like this gentle landing place that's here for you. And as you come into this moment, as you come into the soul field, feel yourself letting go, just for now, everything that came before this precious eternal now moment and everything that will come after it, and just entering in full presence into this moment, feeling the breath, feeling your connection to our beloved earth. And waking up, calling in your unique pathway to the sacred, your unique connection to Source. This is a moment as we enter into, with intent, open the portal about a foot above the top of the head to the Temple of Divine Perfection, which is quite literally our energy recycling center. And just letting anything that is complete, anything that no longer serves, anything that was not yours in the first place, letting any of that go into that beautiful stream of light to be repurposed, recycled. We'll begin with our opening prayer. We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held within a sacred and a holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we actively invoke our unique pathways to Source and the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all our relations. We begin a new series today, and this series called The Filament, and this subsection, Our Sovereignty Depends on It, the filament, our sovereignty depends on it. We're going to dive into what that means, what that's about. But before we begin to get into the sort of transmission of consciousness, let's attune ourselves to receive the energies of this series through our affirmations. And so we have our sacred temple tender, Kevin, helping us today. And so I'll lead the affirmation. He'll repeat with you. Tapping at the thymus or rubbing at the earlobes, I activate and attune to the filament, connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to the eternal life wisdom.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this bio-spiritual system.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this bio-spiritual system.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
We are free.
We are free.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this bio-spiritual system.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source, as sovereign within this bio-spiritual system.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
We are free.
We are free.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
I activate and attune to the filament connecting me to eternal life wisdom.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
As a steward of this light, I prepare my body temple to receive increasing luminosity.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this bio-spiritual system.
In this now, I declare my soul in communion with Source as sovereign within this bio-spiritual system.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
I live and love for the highest good of all beings.
We are free.
We are free.
And so it is, we are free. We are free beings here. And this is beyond anything political or cultural. This is our birthright. This is our birthright. As I was listening, once we move into completion of a series, I can kind of start to feel the whispers of what Spirit is bringing us next. And as I was listening, there was this dream that came, really beautiful dream. And in the dream, there was this very tender sort of filament of light that was coming from me. And what I mean by tender is like tiny. It was like literally like a filament, but it wasn't tender like soft or anything like that. It was so strong. It was like the brightest light that my eyes have ever seen. And this filament was linking in the dream me to eternal life wisdom, to the source of source, to the very origin point of life. And I came to know, of course, that we all have this filament. And there are ways that our soul may connect with, let's say, concepts, spiritual concepts. And those spiritual concepts are an intersection of some divine being, connection, and humanness. And so those concepts take form of some kinds of religiosity or some kinds of dogma, or even the idea of calling this God or goddess, or even the word source. These are concepts of the mind. And what I was shown in the dream is that beyond the concept, we can simply plug into that filament of light that links us directly and powerfully, the most powerful light there is, beyond our concepts of divine, beyond cultural teachings of divine, beyond beautiful stories that remind us of our divine nature. Beyond all of that, that can sort of cut through all of that and simply plug us in to the eternal light, eternal life wisdom that we are 100% woven with. And so this beautiful luminous dream, and then, the downloads that came. And I want to share one in particular today. We're going to, as you might imagine, focus this series on really connecting with that filament and the potency of that and the brilliance of that. We're going to do that because one of the things I was shown is that when we plug, and there's nothing wrong with doing this, when we, even the word soul field, for example, is a concept, field of energy, that soul is a thing separate from others, right? This is a conceptual idea. But when we plug into our spirituality through those concepts, there's a limit. And I was shown this, how when we, maybe you've done this, when there's a solar eclipse and you're not supposed to look at it, but you want to see it. And so you take a piece of paper and you poke a little tiny hole in it. And then you hold that paper up and you don't even look at the paper. You look at what the paper is doing on the ground. And that's how you can tell what's happening with the sun. Spirit was showing me this, like that's how we plug into the divine. We have like a little piece of paper with a hole in it, and we're looking at the shadow it makes. And the shadow is what we call the divine. But looking at that shadow in an eclipse, you have no concept of how brilliant the sun is. You have no concept of the fact that it is this enormous, beyond our mind's capacity to understand, ball of fire that literally fuels the capacity for life on this planet. Like if it wasn't for that, like looking at that little shadow, we don't understand that if it wasn't for that, we simply wouldn't be. And it's like this with the filament. Like in the dream, it looked like this little tiny thing. But what I was shown is that it's so brilliant. It's so beyond that my eyes can't even look at it, nor can yours. That we actually don't yet have the capacity for concept around that magnificence. We actually have no reference point. Even like we do with the sun, we think we know, but none of us have gotten near that and felt and experienced. Makes me cry. The utter awe that it must be to come into close proximity to that. And so it is with the eternal light wisdom that we are plugged into. Beyond our capacity to even have a concept about it. And yet, we can feel it, just like maybe we're not looking at it, but we can feel the warmth of the sun. And we can feel when it gets eclipsed, that warmth go away. We can know its power because we're alive. We breathe. And this is how it is with this filament that links us. We can know it. We can't have a concept about it because our concepts will always be limited. But we can feel it. We can plug into it. We can be connected with it in the way that gives life to what we are truly here to be experiencing and embodying. We can give life to that. And so in our affirmation, we said, I live and love for the highest good of all beings. Because when we're attuned to that filament, we understand our oneness. We understand that everything we do in our living and everything we do in our loving is a sacred offering. And there we become free. We become free of anything that could seek to interfere with that. Because once we plug in and we are living our life attuned with that, with soul in charge, with that filament of light that links us to the eternal, when that's in charge, nothing can get in its way. That filament is the highest power operating in this dimension. So when we're plugging with it, and we're connecting with it, and we're attuning to it, other things that would seek to in some way have power over these biospiritual systems simply don't. In a day and age where we've got all kinds of things in the field, including AI and a whole transhumanism movement happening, the thing that we have charge over is whether we are hanging on to that filament, to our eternal life, to our soul, or not. If you're hanging on, you cannot be messed with. Because the soul light, that filament, is more powerful even than our sun. More powerful than any force we or anyone else could harness. And when we connect there and we harness that for the highest good, for our divine evolutionary trajectory, and for the ministry that brings, that is our protection. That is how we walk unperturbed on this earth at this time. I'm going to pause the recording, inviting those of you who are watching via recording to just kind of see what's stirring within you. Maybe take a moment to journal a little bit. We're going to connect, those of us who are here live. Coming back, people are noticing, I certainly am, that talking about and tuning to the filament, there's a strengthening, a different vibration running in the body, a serenity in the heart, an opening in the heart. And this visual came for someone around the filament being almost like a cable. And I would say that feels really accurate in terms of like so strong, like thin, but so strong, like unbreakable. And wondering if there's a little bit more I want to say today or not. I'm just gonna, In the dream, I was shown that when we attune to that filament, when we really amplify our connection to it, that instead of being this sort of narrow filament, like the ray that might come of light that might come through the hole in the piece of paper for the eclipse, that it gets broader and broader and broader. And so then we become, this luminous being, because that filament is having permission to expand. And there are beings of light that have walked this earth with their filament so attuned and so calibrated and so enlivened that they have created this kind of ripple of light, of divine sacred light that still exists even beyond them. Whether it's through, like, for example, I think of Rumi and through the mystical poetry that like ripples well beyond his incarnation. Or the man they call Jesus Christ, whose teachings continue to illuminate. Or the one that fought for rights, like Martin Luther King, for example, where the impact extends. And to me, that's an example of a place where that person amplified that filament. They amplified their connection to eternal life wisdom. And it created this luminosity in how they lived, in whatever vein it was. And I just named a couple. I mean, we could name a list so long, right? But it ripples out in that unique frequency that is that being. And it becomes light for others. And this is what happens as we do this, that we become light for another, that we become remembrance for another. Not because we're necessarily doing some particular thing, but because in whatever it is we're doing, that light is so predominant. And that light is the light that reminds us who we really are and what is really possible. That is the light that innovates. That is the light that ministers. That is the light that soothes, etc. I'd like us to shift into our more meditative, receptive space. And today, in our meditation space, we're going to use one of the sacred geometric light emanations. For those of you who haven't used those before, this is a combination of intelligent light frequencies, sometimes called mentors, emanations, or flames. Light that carries intelligence and form, particular geometric structure. Today we're going to use the very first sacred geometric light emanation that was ever given to me. This geometry was given to me to support someone whose sacred connection was being interfered with. They had been involved in a cult, and the cult leader was interfering, was plugging into the eternal life of their followers and gaining power that way. And I would help this person clear that, and they would feel better, and then a couple days would go by and it would come back. And so in my desperation, in my prayer time, I just said, there's got to be a better way. Show me, guide me, lead me, there's got to be a way. And some of you know this story. I was given a dream where I was shown the chakras, not just as these vortices of energy that open to the back and the front or the up or the down, but as these platforms that looked a little bit like vinyl records. They had grooves in them. And each of the platforms were called platforms of creation. And what I now understand about this is like those grooves dictate the frequency, the energy that we dance with at that particular level of creation. Throat, third eye, solar plexus, etc. The geometry that then came when I sat with the client, I was given a spinning ball of light in my right hand, blue, and a spinning ball of light, silver, in my left hand. And this one was spinning clockwise and this one counterclockwise. And I was given these by the Christ light. And Christ said, now put those together. I went like this and they kind of went, and they magnetized to one another and used them on the platforms. And so I put them in the third eye. And they just, when I got close, they just went in. And they spontaneously spun down through the energy centers. And then at about the level of the client's knees and ankles and feet, and then they left. And thankfully, that did it. There was never interference again by that cult leader. What I come to understand about this treatment is it's really about our soul sovereignty. This is about anything that would in any way interfere with that sacred connection that is uniquely ours and that is uniquely designed to fuel our life. And so today, as we go into meditation and we connect, we're going to do this as a cleanser. Anything that in any way we have unintentionally or intentionally given permission to, whether that's stories of culture or concepts of religiosity or desires to fit in, anything that we gave permission to in any way dim or interfere with that filament that is ours, is to be cleansed today from these biospiritual systems. So when the time is right, I'll have you open your hands and we'll call in the orbs, and then you'll place them in your third eye when the time is right. I'm going to invite you, if you're not well hydrated, to have a little drink of water. We're going to work with a lot of energy today in this meditation. If you're like me, you can have a drink of tea and a drink of water. Make sure you have a little hydration in you, and then find a place where the body is comfortable. You can be sitting or lying. But today we want a space where we can feel the elongation through the spine. I invite you to let the awareness drop inward. As your gaze becomes internal, feel yourself gazing in and down toward the physical heart. And pause your gaze there as we take 3 cleansing breaths into and out of the heart. As though the heart itself has nostrils and it can breathe and receive the prana, the divine breath of life. And then it breathes out and it lets go of heaviness or tension. Receiving breath into the heart again. Pausing, letting the nourishment be received. Breathing out from the heart, letting go of holding, tension, heaviness. drawing the divine breath of light into the heart. Letting there be a nice sigh of an out breath. And letting that internal gaze drop down into the low belly. Receiving breath into the low belly, letting the low belly be soft, letting it move with the breath, and releasing any tension held there in the low belly as you breathe out. Drawing into the belly all the goodness, the divine breath of life. Helping yourself settle into the low belly as you breathe out. And again, vitalizing the low belly, drawing in the prana, divine breath of life. Breathing out, feeling yourself settling into the pelvic bowl. There's like a soft resting place there. Maybe it feels like a feather bed or a hammock. But you feel your whole being coming to rest there. And as you do, you feel the pelvic bowl and the pelvic floor sort of blossoming open. This stream of energy reaching into the earth. And in that blossoming, there's like this drawing in of the earth's energy. As your body and the earth's body harmonize more fully with one another. Simplicity of intention. And you feel the sensations of this nourishment, and you let yourself receive deeply this goodness. And there's a sense as you plug into the earth in this way that the whole of the earth and all of her resources are available to you. All of her elements, all of the wisdom of all of the plants and animals and creatures that are upon her. You have access to all of that. And you feel yourself opening to the unique frequencies of this planet that nourish and nurture you at this time. Maybe you find yourself plugging into some beautiful crystal deep in the belly of the earth. Or to the hummingbird flying around. Or to the very nutrients deep in the rich soil layers and layers underground. Or plugging into the waterways, the very meridians of the earth herself. Whatever it is, whether it's cognitive or not, you feel yourself opening to the nourishment of earth. You feel the back side of the body becomes more accessible. You can feel the back of the heart and the head and the neck and shoulders. The upper belly, mid belly, and low belly. Even the tailbone is more alive. And feel at the back of the heart like you can lean into these sacred hands. The hands of your wise, healed ancestors. The ones that have walked before you, that are encouraging you and supporting you. You feel yourself plug in there and receive that holding. Those hands that are elevating and encouraging you on your unique journey. And you bring awareness to the filament, your unique sacred filament. You might see it rising from the top of your head. And as you bring awareness to it, you can feel the brilliance of this light. And you can sense that it moves infinitely. And that it plugs you in beyond concept of divine to the very source of eternal life, eternal light, wisdom. Beyond stories of right or wrong or good or bad or deserving or undeserving. This light exists. It is your birthright, this filament. And as you breathe, each breath affirms this sacred connection. And you amplify this connection by your awareness through your presence. And you can feel this filament is literally electric. It's alive. And it's bringing vitality, life down to you. It moves through your spine. It moves through your biospiritual system. Vital, eternal life, light, wisdom. A light without a beginning or an end. That cannot be destroyed. And you keep attuning, you keep amplifying it by your presence, by your breath. And when you feel ready, you open your hands into a receiving position, palms up. We call forth the flame of divine will, the vibrant, bright, royal blue flame, to form for each of us in the palm of our right hands an orb of light. As this orb of light comes into form, it begins to spin there. And you'll feel it, it's visceral. You may see it if you have that kind of sight. But for sure you will sense its presence there. And we call forth the flame of divine magnificence, the metallic silver flame, to form an orb of light that will come into each of our left hands and begin spinning counterclockwise there. And it will just do that. You don't have to direct it. Again, you will feel, sense, and know that this flame has come. And when the orbs of light are spinning in the palms of your hands, slowly you'll bring the palms of your hands together. And these two orbs will be magnetized together and become one, each maintaining its unique color and spin, but one unit. And then you'll take that orb unit and you'll lift it up to the third eye, to the brow chakra, and it will literally be magnetized inside the head. And then once it's in, you can let the hands rest and simply receive the orbs doing their work at that platform. And in the way and in the time that's right for you, these orbs will descend, they'll drop to the throat, to the upper heart and the heart, to the solar plexus and the belly button and the sacral center and the root. And then they'll make their way to the knees, the ankles, and the feet as they leave the body, cleansed. As these orbs are working, you can feel, sense, and notice that that filament is being strengthened, that the light is growing. As you declare for yourself, nothing can interfere with this light. This light is sovereign here in this biospiritual system. As the orbs move together downward, you may feel stirring in that chakra where they are. You may even have a slight moment of what feels a little bit like motion sickness. It will pass. As this continues to work for you, I'll play our song for this series.
things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. Oh, light. Yeah. Oh, light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Notice how your body feels. Notice the quality of your thoughts, if there are any. Notice the quality of your feeling tone, your emotional state. Maybe in a word or two in the chat thread, just describe what you're noticing. I'm feeling an incredible lightness of being, and I hope that you each are too. As you're taking a moment to do that, to notice, Kevin's going to share our announcements.
We are so grateful that you have chosen to spend a bit of precious life to be in sacred presence with us in the soul field. If you'd like more information, transformational support, links to our YouTube video collections, to have soul field events to populate your calendar, or to share soul field with like-minded beings, you can go to soulfield.org. Without your donation and tithing generosity, Soulfield would simply not be possible. Deep bows to those of you who continue to make Soulfield a regular part of your spiritual gift giving. We are thrilled to have many of you joining us in the eternal now via recording. Please remember to like and comment on our videos and follow our YouTube channel. Thank you in advance for helping others to find us. Our next live meditation is Wednesday, December 3rd at 5:10 p.m. And our next Soul Field experience is Sunday, December 14th at 11 a.m., both Pacific time via Zoom.
Thank you, Sacred Temple Tender. We're very blessed to have all of you are sort of rotatingly volunteering to help out, and it's so appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's have our closing prayer. We are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels, guides, and guardians. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings. And so I hope as that prayer is spoken, you take a moment and you really do that. You really let this ripple out. When we come together in this way, when we commune together in this way, creates a field of light, and we can send that with intention. We have a world that's ailing in so many different ways, and even some of our own lives have places where they're ailing. So when we send that collective light, it's like a blessing, a blanket of blessing that goes out. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Have a blessed Thanksgiving, however you choose to spend that. Hopefully, for sure, some time that day in gratitude just for the blessing of life. Well, look at all the fairies dancing today. All right, beloveds, have a beautiful week. I'll see you soon.